shapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Greetings, and live from New York City. My name is Sheikh Musa Drammeh. I am the host of Muslim World News. Behind the scene is Mutiu Olawuyi, our chief executive producers. So good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you may be. This program is coming out of the minds of Muslim leaders and Muslim intellectuals and Muslim educators and Muslim journalists and Muslim organizers, Muslim activists. We are the ones bringing you the news relevant to the world, but emanating from the Muslim minds. And we will also transmit relevant news from the world to the Muslim world. We launched this program, which we intend to make rival to main international media outlets such as CNN, BBC, Fox News, and Al Jazeera, and others, France TV, I think 24. We want for the first time to create a media platform where, Muslim affairs and Muslim news and Muslim activities, will be broadcasted just like, other news outlets. And I hope that you will agree with us that such a news channel has not been in existence, as large as the Muslim world is and as fast as, the Muslim community has been growing. There has not been a global channel that speaks on behalf of Muslims in a language that is unifying, empowering, fair, and balanced. We have some major channels and newspapers and media outlets that are owned and operated by Muslims and Muslim nations, but nothing that really transcends the boundaries and borders and to speak to the world, in a tone and a language that is comparable to that of CNNs and BBCs of the world. And Muslim World News will finally be able, to fill in that void. And we're very honored and extremely privileged and superbly excited, to be able to have, this mission that we embark on. Muslim World News is a creation of, Muslim leaders who are extremely fed up with the status quo. And this journey, started not now, but since the eventful, attacks on New York City, where we are based on 9/11, about 23 years ago. We thought that there was a void in terms of Muslim leaders, who are moderate in their approach and who are, democratic in their interactions and who are faithful, in their practice to be able to communicate their affairs, without being connected to any extremist, networks and outlets and groupings and organizations. So this is an independent, independently run by independent-minded Muslim intellectuals. And I hope that you will find Muslim World News to be an outlet that really speak to your heart and, speak from the perspective that you can understand and relate to, whether you are Muslim or not. And, that is why we're excited. So today, our topic is Muslims' mindset and its consequences. Muslims' mindset and its consequences. As I said, we have a community of at least, 2 billion members or close to it, anywhere from 1.8 to 2 billion members. And the religion happened to be reportedly the fastest growing, religion in the world, meaning that Islam, contrary to some perceptions and some small thinking reports, is the fastest growing religion in the world. Now, that may be very attractive to Muslims, but it can also be terrifying, to those who have unfortunately suffered, the consequences of, extremist individuals who use Islam but really not behave or act as Islamic. Now, there are a lot of elements, a lot of players that use Islam as a platform, but they are not Islamic, nor do they act, according to Islam. But, they use Islam, their names are known Muslim names. They may come from known Muslim, environments. They may be using languages that are known Muslim languages, but their actions and their attitudes and their reaction to these things and their doctrine and their ideology all are not Islamic. And so therefore, Muslim World News will also endeavor, into highlighting, these differences. Who are the real Muslims? Who are the moderate Muslims? Who are the conservative Muslims? Who are the liberal Muslims? Who are the democratic Muslims? And who are the so-called Islamists or jihadists? Now, these terms do not mean what they're being peddled for. Jihadists, for example, in a brief way, jihad is the most noblest action a Muslim can take in Islam. Jihad, it is the noblest. That's why when people die, during jihad, you don't even have to wash their bodies or anything, because to them they're automatically, bound, to paradise, because jihad is a noble concept that Muslims and non-Muslims will love. What is jihad? Justice. Period. Nothing else. Jihad is justice. And who doesn't like justice? Who loves injustice? Only bad people. Everybody, Muslims and non-Muslims, love justice. What is jihad? Justice. And that's it. Jihad is justice. Making sure that every single person, man, woman, a child, a senior, an animal, a tree, an environment, Muslims, non-Muslims, black, white, green, all enjoy the benefit of justice, the protection of justice, the fairness of justice, and the dealings that are just, the relationships that are just. That is what jihad is. And it begins with the person. Are you just? Are you fair? Are you God-fearing? Are you socially conscious? Are you an asset to your community? Are you good to your neighbors? Are you the product that people can consume with dignity? Or are you a product that people will consume and die? Jihad is justice. But the way extremist elements that use Islam, call jihad, is something to be afraid of because it comes with violence, it comes with brutality, it comes with hatred, it comes with destruction, it comes with slaughtering. That is not jihad. That's criminal act used by individuals who call themselves Muslim. And that is why Muslim World News is a platform that will be embraced by everybody that loves justice. They don't have to be religious, they don't have to be Muslim, they just have to love justice. And I think everybody loves justice except the unjust. And so jihad is justice. Islamist, what is Islamist? There's no such thing as Islamists. We're Muslims, period. There's nothing to be at. This and that, no. Muslims, period. Everything else is just an invented word to describe an invented group that call themselves part of Islam. But there's no such thing as Islamists. We're Muslims, or you're not Muslims. Muslims, non-Muslims, period. That's it. So therefore, these words are being used now in a commission to commit crime in the name of a religion that is absolutely against such actions or statements. So these are some of the nuance that we will be talking a lot about, because Islam, it's a beautiful religion. It's a religion of peace. It's a religion of love and harmony. It's a religion of neighborliness. But most importantly, it's a religion of justice. Justice to mankind or humankind. Justice to the animal kingdom. Justice to the environment. That is what Islam is. And who wouldn't want to embrace themselves with such beautiful platforms? So Muslim World News is your platform to be able to differentiate and learn what is right about Muslims and what is wrong about Muslims, regardless of the titles that are used or the labels attached to them. A couple of years ago, there was a phenomenon called Islamic State. Islamic State. What is Islamic State? New York State is Islamic State. New Jersey is Islamic State. Colorado is Islamic State. What is Islamic State? What is Islamic State? What does Islamic State made of? What defines a state Islamic State? Any state with justice is Islamic State. When there's no justice, then it cannot be Islamic State. So even if you go around the Mecca in Saudi Arabia and Medina, and you call that an Islamic State, but yet you're doing injustice to the environment or to the residents and businesses, that's not Islamic State. So, but they call themselves Islamic State. These are people that want to create an environment where everything is Islamic. No, where there's no justice, there's no Islamic State. So these are a lot of things that everybody needs to know, especially non-Muslims, because the more we differentiate evil from the nobleness of Islam, then the easier it is for the world to really understand why Islam is growing this fast. If this is an evil religion, followed by evil people, heinous people, why is it growing? Are people crazy? No, they're not crazy. They understand Islam beyond what these bad people are doing. And because of that, Islam is growing, in leaps and bounds, and will continue to grow because it's a platform that empowers people, liberates people, normalizes, relationships, and really, brings about justice. And justice is very good. Now, let me talk to the Muslim world, during this brief segment we have. And I'm going to use, the Holy Quran. I usually refrain from using the Holy Quran in our media platform because, again, it is very challenging, when you are on this media outlet and then you use Quran. Quran is very powerful and, it needs someone with qualification, which I don't have. And I'm not, pretending that I have the, possession of the knowledge of Quran. My understanding is very, very limited. But at least I can read and I can understand the translation, it's some of the words, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not an Islamic scholar. I'm not Quranic scholar. I'm just somebody who found a verse, and the verse is translated, and I'm going to use that to highlight the premise of what I'm about to talk about. And I have it here in front of me. There's a verse that you can find, in the Holy Quran. If you go to chapter 3, verses 103, chapter 3, verses 103. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على حفرة من النار وأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون. This is a verse that you can find in the Holy Quran, chapter 3, verses 103. And the reason why I'm using it is that I just want to highlight, the importance of what I'm about, to talk about, during this segment of Muslim, world news. We have been blessed, to be Muslims. And then we have been very proud to call Prophet Muhammad our role model. We're very proud. It is our heart, and we're very, very sentimental when Quran is being read, and to a degree where we may even lose our consciousness because we are intoxicated with the beauty of Quran and the guidance and the warning and the promises and everything else, especially when Quran, some chapters are being read that speak to your heart, then you fall in love with it, and then you can no longer, worry about anything else. Now, to non-Muslims, this may be very strange, but to Muslims, this is easily understandable. Sometimes you are picked, from where you are by Quran, and you are in a different zone, different mode, different reality. And those people, Quran represent, what, Quran said, it is a cure for the heart. Allah sent it as a cure for the heart of the believers. But to non-believers, it's nothing but to add even their pain and doubt. So this verse, Allah is saying to the Muslims, to the believers, those who follow, the guidance, sent through Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which was sent to prophets before Muhammad, that, God is telling them, he said, come together, unite, hold on together in the message that God, sent to you. The message that Muhammad, the prophet that was sent to you, brought to you. Hold on to it together. He said that this holding on together doesn't mean that you have to be in uniformity. You don't have to have the same language. You don't have to come from the same country. You don't have to look the same way. You do not have to share anything in common in terms of attributes. However, when it comes to the faith, now that you cannot, be differing. You have to hold on to the Quran. You have to hold on to the message. You have to hold on to the belief. And Allah talks about the reason why this is very important. He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this was given to you to save you. Why? Because you were divided among yourselves. You were divided into tribalism, into clan, into socioeconomic groupings, and whatever. You were divided, and you were proud of whatever group you were part of. You were proud of whatever heritage, whatever ethnicity, whatever leadership, whatever tribal, belonging or attachment or connection. You were proud of it, and then you thought that it was the best, and therefore you were on top of everything, rather than be proud of your dignity, your honor, and your piety, and your usefulness, to society, and your honoring of your parents, and your loving of your neighbors. That was not something you're proud of. You're proud of your ethnicity because you were tribal, and you were willing to sacrifice other people because you thought of them of less. And that's what God said. You were divided. Then Allah came with the Quran and the messenger to unite your hearts, despite of which group, which class, what heritage, what neighborhood. Because you look at each other now as brothers and sisters, connected by Islam. And guess what? Allah who created you and sent Muhammad, from amongst you who speak your language, understand, everything about you, brought this system that saved that division and eliminate the division and save you from the calamity of that division. And the verse continue. It said, because of this Islam, now you became brothers and sisters, and you were on the pits of a fire. You were going down. You were getting lost forever. But then Islam came and united your hearts. Islam came and unite your tribes. Islam came and unite your neighborhoods. And Islam came unite your heritage and your history and make you into one faithful community where you pray together in one line, regardless of who's who. Nobody occupies any space because they come from different line or different socioeconomic status. Everybody that comes to the prayer, the first, sit at the first, the second, the third. But it is not ranking because of social status. It is ranking by who gets there first. That was never the case. But because Islam came and said, you are all brothers and sisters. Nobody is better than others in any type of classification except in piety. Therefore, there's no place in prayer space where it is dedicated to some special people, special group, special person. Because of Islam, and because you were going down the drain, in ignorance and in belligerence and in tribal war, in internal conflict, in, hatred of others, in being proud and, all these things, boastfulness. But Islam came and really humble you. It's because Islam gives you the knowledge. Islam connects you to the power source. And Islam shows you the beauty and the strength of diversity and embracing diversity for the sake of God. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, you should now be grateful that this happened to you. Otherwise, you would have continued to kill each other, to hate each other, to belittle each other, and you would have continued this division. And then the more you are divided, the weaker you are. And every group or every ethnic group that is small becomes weak and vulnerable. And the ones that are powerful and wealthy, become, prayerful to others. But Islam eliminates that. Nobody will be dealt unjustly. Nobody will be classified lower, higher, based on who their parents, their names, their neighborhood, or their, traditional or cultural or historical background. None. The only thing that now differentiates people is their piety, which is their connection to God who created you, all of you. And this is what Quran told the Muslims. And this time when Quran was coming, it was mostly dealing with the Arabs. And they were in the Middle East. This ayah came through an Arab man in the Arab land, speaking mostly to the Arabs, telling them who they were, what their beliefs were, or their ignorance, and the fact that now they should rejoice because the message of unification came. That never came to them before. They were the people that never had books. That's what Quran said to them. And God sent them a book that united their heart and leveled the playing field in terms of ethnicity, language, status, or respectability, or honor, or dignity. Islam leveled it and said, as of today, you will not be boastful because of who you are. You will be boastful because of what you are doing. And what you're doing is, how are you beneficial to your society? And this is what this ayah said. Now, are Arabs hold on to the religion and not divided based on what Allah described there? The answer is no. You go to the Arab world, they divided based on nationality, ethnicity, economic status, sometimes their own dialogue. And now this division that Allah said you were going down the drain in the pits of fire because of your divisions and not lack of your lack of guidance. Your tribalism were putting you down the drain. And guess what happened? Now they're going down the drain because of this division. Rather than holding on to Islam as the most powerful protection, they are now divided to a point where that going down the hell is happening. And that is why I chose this. Because if we're looking at what is happening currently in the overall Muslim world, but particularly in the Middle East, where all the eyes, focus when you're talking about Abrahamic religions, whether you're talking about Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, or others, the eyes focus on the Middle East. Rightfully so. What is happening in the Middle East these days? Well, the ayah talked about in the verse, the division. Everybody's boastful. I am Syrian, I'm Iraqis, I'm Iranian, I'm Palestinians, I'm Saudis, I'm Lebanese, I'm Qataris, I'm Jordanian, I'm Egyptians, I'm Moroccans. I'm specifically singling the Arabs because the message was sent to an Arab man in an Arab land, speak to Arab people. What is happening today in the Arab world and throughout the Muslim world is exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them through Prophet Muhammad, saying that you were divided because you were ethnic based, you were tribalist based, but now that you have the system of unification and that system saved you. If now the Middle East to be safe again, they have to come back now. Come back to what? To Islam. Even if they come back to Christianity, fine. They come back to Judaism, fine. But unite. Unite under an umbrella that protects you. So today, we're dealing with what is commonly called unprecedented. I mean, this is a term that has been used recently for many things. Unprecedented. That means something that has almost never happened before. Unprecedented. There's no precedence. This is new, uncharted territory. As hectic, as troubling as the history of the Middle East has been, and it has been troubled from as far as we can tell, but what is happening now is the result of unprecedented situation. Where we have in Gaza, let's take for example in Gaza, over 40,000 human beings. 40,000 human. Do you know how huge that is? That is like, there's some country in Europe, like 50,000, or in the Caribbean, 50,000, 100,000. Now you're talking about over 40,000, 43, 44, 45,000. And according to the same report, they're saying up to 70% of them, over 2/3 are women and children. Dead, eliminated. And this is not a past tense, it is an ongoing, every day more deaths, more destruction. And then we thought that, well, things cannot get any worse than this. Well, Lebanon came in the picture. And now Syria is now in the picture. you have Lebanon, you have Syria, and then joining Gaza, and we don't know what else would happen because Yemen, Yemen, there are a lot of conflicting players in Yemen. And so we don't know whether Yemen going to be part of. We don't know what's going to happen in Jordan because a lot of the Jordanians are so-called Palestinian refugees. A lot of the people in Jordan are Palestinians because it's one land divided by colonialism. So we don't know what's going to happen in Jordan because Jordan is powerful because Jordan is a U.S. ally, just like Israel is a U.S. ally. When you are U.S. ally, you're fine because U.S. will find a way for you to be fine. Whenever you're not a U.S. friend, then you have to watch your back. But when you're a U.S. friend, there has to be some type of miracle that happens for you to be fine. So Jordan, in the meantime, is fine. Egypt, in the meantime, is fine because they think. So now, let me say this thing after reading this quote in Syria specifically, because Syria has been a slaughtering theater for years, The recently toppled dynasty has been there for over 50 years, murdering people every day, mass murdering people every day, even to a point where they were accused of gassing people, their own citizens. And, Syria is a killing theater. Now, that dynasty so far has been toppled. But that is not the end of the story, unfortunately, when Middle Eastern issue are concerned. You remove one bad, heinous, evil dictator with another heinous, bad, evil dictator, either through military or through dictator or through brutal human, whatever. And that is the concern that a lot of Muslims have. Yes, we celebrate the toppling of a heinous dynasty that is nothing but murderous thoughts. But who is coming? Who are the elements that will take Syria forward? And that is the question that we hope can be answered in the most peaceful way possible. Now, let me give you my African New York advice to the Syrians. My advice is this: as an African Muslim New Yorker, do not declare Israel as your enemy. Do not declare Turkey as your enemy. Do not declare United States as your enemy. Don't do it. Whoever comes, these three nations, don't let them be your enemy: Israel, Turkey, and US. Because if you do, then you will never, ever be successful of putting up a government that can function and serve the needs of Syrians. It's never going to happen. Because if you become an enemy of US and you become an enemy of Israel, they're not going to sleep while you are there, because you become a mortal and you become a danger. Because Israel cannot sleep with neighbors that want the destruction of Israel. And if Israel cannot sleep, US will not allow the existence of a mortal neighbor to Israel. I guarantee that. I'm in New York, and I'm a Muslim and I'm an African. I just want whoever is taking over, after this Assad regimes and legacy, don't declare any animosity toward US, Turkey, or Israel. If you do, then you're doomed, because America will not allow any nation that surrounds Israel to be a threat to the existence of Israel. By the way, for very, very good reason. And for very good reason. America would not allow anybody to attack Turkey either. America will not allow anybody to attack Qatar either. America will not allow anybody to attack UAE, because America is a powerful, but America also has interest in many, many parts of the world. And therefore, anybody that threatens America's national interests, becomes a government that will not survive. And unfortunately, that has been the case. And therefore, whoever take over Syria, do not declare Turkey, Israel, America as your enemy. I say Turkey. The reason why I say Turkey is that Turkey is a giant Muslim nation with democracy. Turkey is a very special country because it's a country that embraces democracy, modernity. At the same time, it's a country that really, really loves the Muslim world. And therefore, declaring animosity to such a nation will be an idiocy that will cause any new government, to collapse. And I'm not even talking about the Turkish and, so many other groups that are Turkish, but, are in Syria, or the Syrians in Turkey. There's so many, overlapping constituencies between Syria and Turkey. So anyway, let Turkey continue to be a giant democratic Muslim nation that, oftentimes it does a lot of good things for other Muslim nations, and they are NATO allies. So, we have to respect that. And Israel will not tolerate a neighbor that threatens its survival. Never going to happen. This is something that I've been saying for so long, but a lot of people don't get it. Or no. Israel cannot afford to be surrounded by neighbors that want it to disappear. It will never going to happen. And if Israel doesn't want it, America will make sure it never happens. So I pray that the new government in Syria becomes completely the opposite of what it was, and becomes completely the opposite of so-called Islamists and so-called radicals or extremists or hatred or anti-Israel, anti-Semites. I hope that they're so attuned to what is going on that they will take the mantle from where it is now higher. And if they do that, then the Middle East, will be a beautiful place, peaceful place, because the Middle East is not only a holy place, but it is a beautiful place that, I hope and pray, peaceful coexistence, Muslims, Jews, Christians, Druze, Ahmadiyya, and everybody else, will feel a privilege, to call it home. It is a place that all of us are interested in seeing peace and love and harmony, to fester on. And all of us, are in deep pain watching what is going on. So with that being said, I'm going to end with this. Muslim World News is here now to continue on the same message, differentiating evil from the nobleness of Islam, and also differentiate extremists from Muslims that Quran said, be, moderate in your approach. He said that this religion is a religion for those who do things, behave moderately. They're not too extreme to the left, extreme to the right, extreme to anything. They're moderate. They understand, that it is Allah who's in charge of things. It's not so conservative that you would kill somebody who does something that you don't like or whatever. So this is a religion of those who have the intellect and those who love people and love God. And that's why we're very happy that we have the platform that soon will be a global platform that Muslims and non-Muslims, can get fair and balanced reporting concerning the Muslim world. And by doing so, we'll save the Muslim world from falling to the pits of fire that Quran described in chapter 3, verses 103. Once the Muslims, hold on to the Quran without being divided by nationality and ethnicity and race, then the Muslim world will become indomitable, because this is a beautiful platform. But we should not scare the non-Muslims into normalizing extremism and bad people killing people, bad people beheading people, and bad people hating innocent people because their ideology is completely anti-Islam. And even though they call it Islam, it is not Islam. It has nothing to do with Islam if it hurts other people, if it's unjust, unfair, harmful, promoting hate, promoting violence. How could it be Islamic? Never happened. But a lot of bad people are using Islam to justify their bad actions, and Muslim World News, will be perhaps their number one enemy, because we're not going to tolerate such from continuing to happen. We want to clean Islam of all hate, all extremism, all evil ideology, and all biases. We want to clean Islam off of this, and we will do it because God is in charge. And once you have the platform that people can really rely on with fair and balance, then you have the power to change the mindset so that the consequences that is now putting the Muslim world into hell will no longer exist, because the mindset is, the result of the consequences of 40,000, 44,000 people dying in Gaza, 5,000 people dying in Lebanon, and hundreds of thousands of people dying in Syria, and not to mention Iraq and Lebanon and what is going on in West Africa now with all these extremist groups that are now popping up everywhere, kidnapping and killing people, all kinds of nonsense, and not corruption, Muslim world being corrupted. How could you be Muslim world and you're corrupted? Muslim nation and corruption, all these things. So let's change it together. I want you to patronize Muslim World News, whether you're Muslim or not. If you have products and services that you want to advertise, we are your platform. The more money we make, the more righteous people we hire, the better it is. We mean well, we are good people, and this platform is needed, even non-Muslims, more so than anybody else. Therefore, we are not a charity, we are not religious based, we are a commercial entity that wants to socially change, the mindset of Muslims who are hurting other people and hurting themselves. So, patronize us, advertise, your products and services with us, and we'll make sure that you get wider audience, because again, when we make more money, we do things better, because there are a lot of good Muslims with a lot of brands and a lot to talk about, a lot to educate the world on, and the more money we have to hire them, the better it is for us. We are going to rival the networks that you depend on for your international news. And because this will be the very first time we have a global media run by Muslims who are fair-minded, Western educated, as well at the same time follow 100% of the platform that will save this world, without a doubt. So join Muslim World News advertisers and patronizers. And then if you have any question about, us, just check us out. We'll be more than happy to have this exchange of ideas or learn from you. Or if you want to, become a guest, or you want to become a writer, or, opinion writer, you want to become freelancer, you want to contribute to our objectives, we are more than happy to have you on board, because we want to have thousands of staff so that we can do things properly globally. It is needed. If Islam is growing fast, then Islam must be a platform that is beneficial to the world, not harmful to the world. And Muslim World News is about to promote that, so that the world will benefit from Islam, not harmed by it. So God bless you all, and make sure you continue to tune in and continue to check us in. Our website will be MWN24.com, MWN24.com. Soon, all our programming can be viewed on MWN24.com. And we are launching a global channel like CNN, but we don't have the money now. But that is our objective, to launch 24 hours, 7 days a week, international channel called Muslim World News. God bless you and thank you.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post. Changing the reality, changing the narrative.